Hey traders, Toby here with Pro Edge Trading. Today we're going to talk about the EdgeRunner Auto. So you're seeing the EdgeRunner indicator here on the screen. The auto version takes these trades for you. You get a signal, entry, the bot gets in, you set it, you tell it what profit target and stop loss to use, does everything for you. You can set a set profit target and a set stop loss, or you can have a dynamic stop loss, which basically if a candle closes below the edge band or two in succession, you can set it either way. Then it gets you out of the trade, trades these background changes for you. Like this one here, for example, it's going to look at the green background, a green candle, green down here. If those all line up, it's going to take that trade for you, and it's going to set the profit target dynamically. So it's going to be the size of the body of this candle is going to be your profit target. It's going to be added on here. And then the stop is right here at the bottom of the candle. So it takes those trades for you. And let's take a look at it. So here's the settings. You can input two different time frames. Normal entries are just the normal signals right here. Here's your profit, stop. Here's your dynamic or static settings. One candle, two candle. Entry type. You can also do limit orders. So, and then the limit orders have a few different cancellation types. It could be minutes or bars. Or you can actually tell it to say, limit in wherever you want, whatever offset you want. If price doesn't get you in, but goes up X amount of ticks, and you can tell it that, we call that the line in the sand. So here's your entry, your signal entry. Here's your limit somewhere down here. And you'll notice in this case, price went up. It could have went up without you if you had your limit order down here somewhere. So if it hits that line in the sand that you predefine, it will cancel the order for you. So basically, if you're trying to limit in for discount, and prices goes without you, it's going to get you out. It's going to take the order off for you. You got EMA filter. You can put in whichever value you want. You can even do reverse trades. If you want to trade back to the EMA, you can do a reverse. Got break even, ticks or percent, daily profit loss, max wins, max losses. Here's your background switch entries. And what we've added recently is this max RR. So let's say you only want to take trades that are, 2 to 1, 3 to 1, 1 to 1, whatever. The bot, the auto, is going to, once the signal's generated here, it's going to measure from the entry to the bottom of the edge band, because that's the only data it has. It can't, not going to know what's going to happen, but its best guess is you're going to get out somewhere under the edge band. So it calculates that, and then it looks at your profit target that you've put in there, and it divides those out and comes up with a ratio, 1 to 2, 1 to 3, 1 to 4, whatever you put in here. If it exceeds that value, it's not going to take the trade. So if you want to restrict your trades to just a 1 to 2 or a 1 to 1, you can do that here. Another thing we've added recently is the background. Okay, on these background trades, right now, or the way it was set up, once you qualified here, it would get you in. Like I said, this is your profit target amount, and it would add that here, and there you go. In the current version, you can set this wherever you want. It's going to get you in. You can tell it only 10 ticks with a 20 tick stop, whatever. You can set the profit target and stop loss however you want now. It doesn't have to be dynamic. And the buttons, we got buttons now. So here's buttons over here. You can enable, disable the bot, choose only long or short or both. So that's really nice to have. And some things that are in the pipeline now we're adding are really cool. We're going to have an option on these background changes. Right now, it has to be qualified. You have to have a green background, green candle, green band, a green line down here before it will take that trade. But we're going to have a option to just turn that off, so that as soon as the background change happens, you're in. And so you have the option to turn off those conditions. We're going to add a net win-loss setting, which is really handy if you're doing one-to-one trades and you get a net one win. A lot of people just stop net one, call it good, call it a day. And then another trade we really like is, say like this trade here, this signal here, whatever this ATR value is at this time, and you can set the ATR value to, whatever you want, 1, 2, 10, 14. But at this signal, there's going to be some ATR value assigned to it. You'll be able to select a percentage of the ATR value of this candle as your profit target, or a minimum. So say you're on the Q and you're going for, on the 2 minute, we usually go for 10 points minimum. But say the ATR is only 15. You still want to go for 10. You always want to go for at least 10. Because if you're doing 50%, that'd only be 7 or 8, 7.5, So you'll have a minimum, but you also have a maximum, so that you don't get a candle that, like we've had on the Q lately, that's 140 points, and you're going for 50% of the ATR, which would be 70. It's probably too much. So you'll have a maximum too. So say on a 170 point candle that we've been having lately, you may only want to still go for like 40 points, So you can have a max profit target and a min. And but long as the candle is within the parameters, like say it's 30 point candle, then you go over 15 points. And then your stop would be right under that candle, or under the edge band, whichever is furthest. So like, say this was a signal, for example, your stop would still be down here under the edge band, whichever one's furthest. That way it gives you some wiggle room. You want some wiggle room above the edge band, ideally. And then in the analyzer, for analyzing purposes, we're going to have an exclusion file where you can exclude holidays, real crazy days where the candles were 10 times bigger than they're supposed to be. Things like that skew the analyzer results of normal trading days. So we're going to have an exclusion file option. And then ATM. A lot of times people like to use their own ATMs, and we're going to have an option for that. So you can use, say you're trading micros and you want 3 or 4 with different trails, take a few off at this point. At that point, you can opt to use an ATM instead, because those are highly configurable. Oh, and something I forgot to add on the ATR trades. This is really cool. We're going to have a dynamic setting for the number of contracts you take. So, say you're on the micros and you only want a set loss, a max loss. Say you're on the queue and you only want a max loss of $200. Well, sometimes it's hard to tell how many contracts you should use given the current volatility. Sometimes the ATR is 50, sometimes lately it's been, 90, 100, 110, sometimes it's 30. We've just had a big mix lately. But that way you can say, I want a max loss of $200 or whatever the value is. Well, the auto will calculate that out based on the ATR, and it will enter the number of contracts closest to what that loss would be. So what it's going to do is, say on this signal, whatever this ATR is at the time, here, we'll look real quick just so you can get a good picture of what I'm talking about. All right, let's just say you're doing the stock 14 ATR. So it is 58, we'll just call it 60. What it's going to do, it's going to add a little buffer. So it's going to be 72. It's going to say right here, and you can select ATR period, but I'm just using the default period of 14. So at that time, it was, say, 60 ticks. The auto is going to add 20%, give you a little buffer. So it's going to be 72 ticks. And it's going to say, all right, you only want a max stop of $200. So it's going to do that calculation based on your profit target that you put in there. So if you're going for 30 ticks, it's going to take that into consideration compared to the value of the instrument and the size of the ATR. It's going to calculate that all out and enter you the correct amount of contracts that would equate to a $200 stop out if it was to happen. So whatever, this is 60 ticks, it would add 20%, which would be 72. It's going to calculate per instrument what $200 would be, worst case scenario, and that's going to be how many contracts it enters you in. So that's really cool. It's going to be dynamically done for you because it's hard to do that on the fly sometimes. And the volatility, it can change so much throughout the day. And then each instrument's different. It gets complicated if you're trading 3 or 4 or 5, 6 different instruments. Volatility's changing, ATR's changing, and you want to kind of stay within a certain max loss amount. It's going to do all that for you. It's going to calculate all that for you, enter for you the correct amount of contracts. So we're real excited about that update. But all these will be rolling out really soon. You can get the EdgeRunner and the EdgeRunner Auto right here at ProEdgeTrading.com. When this update's ready, you get it for free. You always get free updates. Come see us on Discord. We're always in there sharing setups, answering questions. Here's a checkout, and you get your files immediately. I appreciate you guys watching, and see you in the next one. All right, thanks.